Okay, we are live. Welcome back to another stream. And this one is a different game. It is not Nets versus anyone. It is Minnesota taking on Cleveland. I am excited to do this because, well, the Nets are not fun to watch, and Minnesota are, and so are Cleveland. It's really that simple. Um, but both of these teams are depleted in some respects. They've both got good records, and there's both playoff spots available and up for grabs. This is gonna be an interesting one. The Cavaliers are missing Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Dean Wade, so some pretty integral pieces, and then Dean Wade. Aside from that one game where he went off in the last quarter and hit the game winner. Minnesota do have Rudy Gobert playing today, even though he was listed on the injury report recently. Karl Anthony Towns is out with the meniscus issue. But that aside, Minnesota are in pretty good health. Starting lineups for today is for Minnesota: Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, and Rudy Gobert. So they don't look too affected by the Karl Anthony Towns injury when it comes to a lineup. But Cleveland are obviously missing Donovan Mitchell and Mobley, who are both starters. So they've had to delve into their bench a little bit. Niang will get the start at the power forward position, and Levert will play at the 2 in place of Donovan Mitchell. So it's Garland, Levert, Okoro, Niang, and Jarrett Allen. And yeah, that is basically the 5 on the floor for both sides. Definitely, for sure, going to be interesting to see the way these guys perform. Anthony Edwards is having a cracking season. I mean, he's a walking highlight reel, so of course he's going to be, a desirable watch. But I'm sort of excited to see what this game has to offer because, yeah, as I said, depleted a few players out for Cleveland. So, look, I think keys to the game is probably going to be, of course, Anthony Edwards. It's going to be very interesting to see the matchup between Gobert, Rudy Gobert, and Jarrett Allen. Allen's been a proper double-double machine this season. And Rudy Gobert, I mean, is a defensive beast. And in the past, when Allen was on the Nets at least, he got moved by players like Gobert. And it was pretty tough for him to contain those sort of players. But Jarrett Allen has developed over the years. He's become stronger. He's been a better presence at the rim, defensively and even on the offensive side of the ball. So I think that's going to be a great matchup. And then obviously the role players, it's going to be an interesting watch from the perspective of both teams because especially Cleveland, they are delving a bit deeper into that bench. Certain players that don't usually get time will get the minutes tonight. But yeah, regardless, I'm pretty excited to see what happens between both of these teams. Game's about to get underway. From a Cavalier perspective, they have been very mixed in results recently, whilst Minnesota have, well, they've won 3 of their last 4. So they've done a pretty good job of being able to stabilize, I think. First quarter should have started. Close to. Alrighty. Last time these two teams played, it was a 9-point win the way of the Cavs. And that was all the way back on the 9th of March. So that one was also decided, I think, in a pretty close sort of contest. This one's about to get underway. It is underway. And it is Minnesota who will have the first possession of the game. And a nice little scoop layup by Conley to get the Timberwolves on the board. They start very nicely. And it's going to be the Cavaliers up next, with Garland passing to Allen on the outside, and then LeVert will use that Allen screen again. And LeVert will fling it across to Garland. The driving kick out. LeVert, the pump fake. The three was open, but it was well short. The long board by Allen. Garland fakes the pass. Wing three is off. And the board by Minnesota. Garland is very streaky. He can have games where he's 5 of 16, and then the other way around, he can have games where he's on an absolute tear. Minnesota are looking for Conley. They get it to him. Gets into the paint and shoots with the right hand and is short, and the board by Niang, who's going to fling it ahead to Okoro. Allen's running from one end to the other. He blew the layup, got his feet muddled, and then Garland, who got the offensive board, was able to fling it in with the push shot. So Cavaliers on the board, and it has been a pretty messy sort of start in this game. It's Conley on the outside, who will pass it across to Naz Reid. Quick trigger? Nope. Gobert with the board, and it's going to be 2 shots for Rudy. Jarrett Allen had to call the... had to basically take one for the team there, and he will concede the foul and get 2 shots here. Does Gobert. So he can get onto the board. First up. First free throw for Gobert is well short. First free throws of the game, of course. I can sense there's going to be a ton of these sort of free throws where Gobert is very physical under the basket on those Timberwolves misses. They're not the best offensive team, so he's obviously going to look to try exploit that matchup as much as possible because of that size advantage, the physicality he's got over him, over Jarrett Allen, should I say. So no score there for Gobert off the free throws, and now Garland moves through, extra feed to Allen, goes down low, shoots over Gobert. It's good defense. It hits back iron, and Minnesota will push the pace. Naz Reid fumbled the handle, but he still got it, and he's going to back down Niang with the size advantage. Drives, layup is good, and you just sense with the Naz Reid's size, going to be pretty difficult to contain. Allen's going to have to come across and help like he did on that occasion, but that, of course, opens up the extra feed opportunity. The Cavaliers are 1 of 5, looking to change that. LeVert throws it away. Drive, Gobert, the kick out to Reid, catch and shoot 3. It is off. Rebound by LeVert, who swoops on it. It's a 3-on-2 fast break. Garland is open on the wing, and that catch and shoot 3 is also off. So the Cavaliers off to a rocky start from the field. Edwards lost the handle. Guarded by Niang. He goes baseline, falling out of play. Okoro reads the pass, and it is deflected out. So definitely fair to say the defense is more switched on than the offense, for sure. And so Minnesota will do the inbounding. I don't know why I only added 1 point there. 4-2, early lead for Minnesota. Gobert's going to drive it in. Niang's the last line, and Gobert looked like he'd blown the layup, but he scores for 2 on the inside. And a very good start there by Rudy Gobert. In what is a weakened Cavalier front court, even with Allen as the defensive anchor, they're still pretty defensively affected with Mobley out. Garland into the paint. He'll fling it out to Okoro, who tries to drive past Reid. Instead passes to Niang, who's ready to shoot. And he scores the 3 and ties, or gets the Cavaliers the lead? No. Still trying to get used to operating the scoreboard with non-Nets teams. Edwards off the glass. It bubbles out, and a board for the Cavaliers. It's Garland who will bring it forward. Picked up by McDaniels, you would sense that is the assignment for today. Garland gets into the mid-range and scores for 2 to get the Cavaliers back in front. Gobert's playing drop coverage, so there was plenty of space there for Garland to get a shot up. Gobert opted to not contest it. And now Minnesota will take it inside again. And Reid thought he was fouled. Looks at the referee as if to say, what the fuck are you talking about? Not giving me a foul. But instead, it's going to be a baseline inbound. They get it to Edwards, who kicks it out to Reed and out of the corner for Conley. Gobert drives and was fouled as he went up by 2. It's just going to be up to the referee's discretion to actually decide on who that foul was on. And it looks like LeVert is going to be the man who picks it up. So Gobert is causing early issues here for the Cavs. And I think that's something you could have identified pre-game. So Gobert's missed the last 3 games. He's refreshed, even though he was missing due to injury. He's missed all of his free throws early on. And this is his second trip. He's got 1 more free throw awaiting. And we're about 4 minutes in. 7-6. Cavaliers up. But, yeah. I'm very interested to see... Like, there's some really good defensive matchups for both sides. You got McDaniels guarding Garland, as Gobert makes that free throw to tie it up at 7 apiece. And then you've got, on the other side, Anthony Edwards is getting the attention by Isaac Okoro. So those are 2 very gritty, defensively minded players. Allen was fouled going up by Naz Reid, who's looking at the ref as if to say, well, you didn't call a foul the previous play, so why the fuck are you calling a foul on me now? So Allen was able to push off Gobert there, protect the space under the basket, but it was good help defense by Reed to interfere somewhat. Allen's free throw is good. He's improved as a free throw shooter over the years. He had 33 points and 18 rebounds. He had 21 free throws in the game the last time these 2 teams met. So that obviously was a huge reason why they got the dub. So Allen gets on the board here for his first 2 of the game. 9-7 Cavaliers. Conley will pass it out to Edwards. Gets into the paint. The layup is good. Was able to lose Okoro that time and get the extra step. And he's on the board. Averaging 27 a game this year. I mean, he's obviously a huge reason why they've got 47 wins or whatever it is. Conley knocks it away. LeVert has to go fetch it in the backcourt. And now he'll use the high screen by Allen. Gets inside. Still got Conley on him. Tries the reverse. Gobert with the block. Allen gets the rebound. Great dime to LeVert, who had gotten over the back. And the Cavaliers lead by 2 again. Great find by JA on the dime there. And, well, Minnesota are doing a lot right. Gobert's had a really good start to the game, getting to the line and having some good defensive activity, but the results aren't matching. Conley, the pump fake, the open 3, it bounces out. Long board by McDaniels. Back out, but Okoro read it. And on the break, Anthony Edwards is going to be called with a foul, and it looks like they're going to review it. So we're nearly at the halfway point of the first quarter. It's 11-9. And it's been an interesting sort of start here by both teams. Pretty even, if I'm honest. I think we went into this game knowing it was going to be a more defensively minded game. Let's just refresh this and show off what's going on with the box score nice and early. So you can see, really, nearly everyone's gotten on the board. Okoro was nearly nailed on to get an easy 2 points at the other end before Anthony Edwards fouled. You can also see Gobert's got 3 and 3, Allen's got 2 and 4, so those guys are going to be very active on the glass today. You would think that they're going to have a double-double late second quarter, early third quarter for points and rebounds, because they've been in and amongst it. Gobert's got already the 4 free throws, he's got a block, he's got an offensive rebound, he's done a bit of everything. They aren't shooting the ball too well, though. Turnovers have been down for both sides. Shooting's nearly identical, though. JA's gotten to the free throw line But yeah, I can't really get a gauge on this one early. Edwards has been well held early. I haven't seen him have too much of the basketball, so credit to Isaac Okoro for really bringing the heat early. And for players like Anthony Edwards, who's obviously very pacey, it's going to be a tough matchup by default. But the more you can be physical with him and try cancel out those runs that he may be making off the ball and even on the ball as well, you know, the better placed you're going to be as a defensive side. Because immediately, like, that is their main option. So if they can get Anthony Edwards under 20 points tonight, they give themselves the best chance of winning for sure. If you are enjoying the stream so far, make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe if you are new. We'll be doing a couple of neutral watch-alongs for the rest of the season. And that is on top of the neutral watch-alongs, which I usually do as well. So, because Anthony Edwards didn't really make a play on the ball, it looks like they're going to be calling that as free throws. And Anthony Edwards going to be hit with a clear path foul. So, that is going to be the first 2 free throws of the game. I believe it is in the power of any player to be able to, get these free throws. I think they can pick and choose. So, no, I think it's the man who was hit with the foul. And it's going to be Okoro shooting, but he's missed the first free throw. They will have the basketball here, but second free throw is good. But they split the pair. It hasn't been a very clean sort of game from the free throw line either. Both sides missing a few free throws. Ball's going to be inbounded by the Cavaliers. The 6:30 mark, it's Garland. We've seen no sub made by either team so far in this match. And we're halfway in. So 6:26 to play. And Niang's going to do the inbounding to Okoro, who was closed down by Gobert, but it was an easy find to Jarrett Allen. I'm not really sure what the defensive mechanism was supposed to be there by the Minnesota Timberwolves, because that was just far too easy. And now Edwards, the spin, the bounce pass to Reed. He's going to back down Okoro, that size mismatch again. Reed gets one up, gets the bounce off the rim. And it sat up there for a while, but doesn't matter how you do it, as long as the 2 points get added. And now the Cavaliers. Pass to Allen behind the back. Okoro's open as a result, and he airballed the 3. Not a good look. And now Edwards in transition. Won't be looking to play with pace here, which is an interesting call. Edwards, the move to Reed across court. The 3 is rhythmic, and he gets it all tied up at 14 apiece. So Garland's going to let the ball roll and the clock wind down. Picked up by McDaniels on the wing. The screen by Allen frees him up a little bit. Hits back iron, but another long rebound for Allen, and the push shot goes. So that's a little bit of luck involved in that, and the Cavaliers get that lead back up. It's been very back and forth, a lot of ties, a lot of lead changes. Allen's already got 6 points and 5 rebounds in this one. The drive and the spin and the shot by McDaniels. The rainbow floater is good, and he's able to get it back all square again. So, 16 apiece. Levert. Niang on the outside will drive it down the middle. Gets one up, doesn't get the bounce. Allen chases up another board. Okoro to Levert. 1-on-1. Driving kick. Garland 3. That also rims out. I don't think he's scored a field goal in this game thus far. Yet the Cavaliers are still holding firm. Reed the drive. He gets it to go +1. And Niang with the shove as Reed got the ball up. And the Cavaliers ship off 2 there. So good work there by Reed in transition to just identify that defense was unset. I mean, Niang is the natural assignment for today. But he didn't look all that comfortable in transition when Reed was going downhill. So a free throw to come here for him. And Reed's free throw is converted. So feels like it's bucket for bucket most of this first quarter. Garland, the handoff to Merrill, who's in the game for the first time. And it's also Marcus Morris who's in. Allen the drive. Goes himself and wasn't able to get the job done, but there's a foul involved. And Naz Reid is going to pick it up. I think that's his second personal of the game. And he's almost been Minnesota's best player. In the game for Minnesota as well is Monte Morris and Carl Anderson. Allen's got 6 points and 6 boards. He looks like he's shaping up to have a monstrous game. Monstrous game today. And his first free throw rims out. So, yet again, another free throw that goes begging. And now it's going to be, I believe there was going to be a sub. Naz Reid's going to the bench. In a little bit of foul trouble. I think McDaniels has checked back in as a result. Or Alexander Walker. Both free throws converted there by J.A. And Allen's got 8 points and 6 rebounds early on. Edwards on the outside, guarded by Okoro. The skip pass to Alexander Walker goes through hands, and it'll be Cavaliers' ball. And I think they wanted to go very quickly there because they've inbounded the ball, but the horn at the scorer's table's gone off. So 3:49 to play first quarter, and it is the Cavaliers trailing by 2 with possession. Garland's got it in the backcourt, guarded by Alexander Walker. Thompson's also in for the Cavaliers. Certified Hall of Fame menace. Merrill is blitzed. Pass to Okoro, who flings it across to Morris, who shoots in the mid-range, and that's badly off. The rebound by Alexander Walker. Anthony Edwards now is guarded by Morris. He's going to cook here. The cross, well held though, by the old man. The drive, picks up his dribble, moves through, and he wasn't able to convert the layup. That is great defense by Morris. And now Merrill, it's a 5-on-4 because Anthony Edwards is still down. Morris wasn't able to capitalize on the open 3 in transition. So winding down here in this first quarter, Edwards is still stranded on 2 points. The drive here by Minnesota, the fling out by McDaniels to Edwards, the extra pass. Morris moves through, past the defensive contest. He missed the floater. McDaniels got the board, tried to knock it off a Cleveland player as he was falling out of bounds. After all that, it's still going to be Minnesota ball because it went off a Cavalier. It was very much in dispute in the open floor. Instead, it is going to be Minnesota ball. But first, we're going to have to endure a nice old timeout. It's been very unclean here in this first quarter. Naz Reid's got 10. He's got half their points. And it really looks that way. He's been by far their best player. Anthony Edwards hasn't been too involved. Only the 2 points. He's only taken the 3 shots. Minnesota are shooting the ball pretty damn well. But their free throw number is something you probably want to ignore if you are a Minnesota supporter. They've also only got 3 assists. So they probably want to make a little bit more of an emphasis on moving the basketball around a little bit. Because right now they're really sort of struggling to get it going. That ball movement, Cavaliers are very switched on. And that is the sign of a good defensive system, no matter the personnel you have on the court, because, obviously missing some key figures today. But they are looking pretty good at the moment. Allen's got 4 offensive rebounds, so it hasn't been empty stats when it comes to the rebound department. He's got 7 points and 6 boards. Garland's got 4 points, but he's been highly inefficient from the outside, and they've got no bench points. They haven't shot the ball too well, and really their 3-point percentage is very similar to that of Minnesota's. The free throws, both sides have made a real knack of getting to the line early on. But it's the Cavaliers who have been more, well, they've capitalized much, much better. So, fair play by Cleveland for making a ball game out of this pretty early on. But obviously plenty of work to do for both sides. I think a lot of work needs to be done on the offensive side, just cleaning things up a little bit. Because, yeah, it's been a little bit messy. So, it's 19-17. Cavaliers trailing, but there have been many lead changes and ties so far in this game. I don't think really either side has gotten ahead by more than 2 possessions early on in this game. I reckon there's been probably, if I combined the amount of ties and lead changes, I reckon I'd amount to already about half a dozen if I combine the two. So 19-17. Late in the first quarter. And Minnesota, give and go by Edwards off the inbounds. And that caught the Cavaliers defense off guard because they just had absolutely no one on the last line. The Cavaliers are going to get into this nice and early. Garland, the driving kick. Okoro, the 3. Oh my goodness. He has missed 2 3-pointers, both of which have been air balls, and both of which have been from the corners. One on each side. Okoro just got completely lost off the inbounds there. So 2-17. Garland. Bounce pass to Thompson, and he was fouled going up. That was a great slip pass there by Darius Garland there. He didn't have much of a window there to get the pass off, but he was able to find Thompson in the end, albeit not very cleanly. It's going to be a couple of free throws here for Tristan Thompson. And that one rims in, and it was the most unconvincing free throw I've ever seen, but it doesn't really matter, as we've said multiple times today, how you get it done. Oh my god, he nearly got both free throws to go simply by the ball bouncing on top of the rim for like 5 seconds. He goes 1 of 2 from the line. A lot of centers getting free throws in this game so far. It's Morris. That's Monte Morris passing to McDaniels. The drive, lost the ball going up. Merrill, good defense. Cavaliers with the breakaway. Garland, and we have a foul down low, and it's Alexander Walker who's picked it up, and I think he's been a little bit foul heavy early on in this game. I think that's his second personal in about a couple of minutes. 1:46 to play opening quarter. And it is 3 points the margin. And we have more free throws with the Cavaliers in the bonus. Morris will head there. And these will be his first shots of the game. And he converts the first one to cut it down to 2. Jordan McLaughlin is in the game. Alexander Walker will go off with those 2 personals. And now, second free throw coming up for Morris is also good. And that perfect trip to the free throw line cuts it to 1. It'll be McLaughlin handling point guard responsibilities. McDaniels with the cross, gets inside, blocked by Thompson. And it'll be Minnesota ball on the baseline that was sent into the first row. 1:34 to play, first quarter. And McLaughlin will inbound to Edwards straight away. Gets by Levert, shoots the jump shot off the glass, and it's off. And the board taken strongly there by Thompson, so the Cavaliers can get that lead back again. Garland to Merrill, back to Garland. He'll wave a couple of Cavaliers away, hands it to Morris. Was looking for Levert, who had cut back door, but Edwards was standing in the middle, marshalling the paint, and was able to knock that one out of play as well. So a lot of knockaways in this first quarter. 21-20. Final minute, first quarter. Garland is going to drive it in. The scoop layup is off. Thompson couldn't sweep up the rebound, and now it is Edwards in transition. Gets by Levert. The high-arcing layup is off, but there is a foul as Edwards fell to the floor and hit the bottom of the rim framework. So Edwards has found it pretty tough when he's gone inside, even though he's been able to beat the initial defender. There have always been help defenders very alert and active in getting across and trying to change the direction of that layup. Anthony Edwards was 7 of 27 the last time he played the Cavaliers, had 5 turnovers. So it's fair to say that this is one of the opponents he finds a little bit tougher to deal with. I mean, they only play each other twice in a season, and we've only got one game as a sample to work off. Edwards misses a free throw. Another one off, and the Cavaliers can tie or take the lead in the final minute. The Cavaliers are 7 of 10. Minnesota are 3 of 7 from the line. I mean, Gobert had 4 free throws, but it really doesn't help if your best player is missing those sort of shots. As well, Morris misses. Levert was there for the tip-in. He wasn't able to get it to go. Thompson saved it, but Edwards fortuitously ended up with it, and now he's going to drive it inside. They got a 2-for-1 on offer. Edwards wasn't able to get the bounce off the rim as he was shooting off one leg and tried to, fashion it in off the window, but instead it is a miss. And with a 5-second difference between shot and game as the clock winds down, the Cavaliers will slow it right up and use that full-time allotment. Garland, spin move. The pirouette is off. Thompson could not get the rebound. Edwards, the kick out to McLaughlin. He was open, he was trailing, and he knocks down the 3 with 0.5 on the clock. The Minnesota Timberwolves lead by 5 as the clock expires. And that is the first quarter done and dusted, and in the books, it is Minnesota leading 25-20, opening quarter done, and Naz Reid leads the way for all players on the court tonight. 10 points for him. So, second quarter awaits, but that is a very entertaining sort of first quarter. I mean, Minnesota have been well and truly up to the task, but Cleveland have been very competitive in the opening quarter. It's going to be the defense that gets it done for them, because their offense sure as hell has struggled. They've had more free throw makes than they have made field goals. So they've really found it difficult to get too much going without Donovan Mitchell in the lineup. Garland's got 4 points on 2 of 8 shooting, and Allen, even though he's got the 7 points and is leading the way for the Cavs, and nearly half of his points have been accounted for by the free throws he's converted. So they're really doing a good job at the little things, the hustle sort of stats. 6 offensive rebounds. They've had a couple steals, a couple of blocks. But yeah, their field goal shooting is not really too flattering early on in this game. For Minnesota, Naz Reid's got 10 points. He has been doing a really good job early on of really attacking that matchup, which is very favorable to him. He's got Niang guarding him tonight. Anthony Edwards has only scored the 5 points of the 5 rebounds, the 2 dimes. Those 5 points have come at a 2 of 6 efficiency. And the Cavaliers are shooting far better from the field, but their free throw numbers are not really too flattering. And they are getting out-rebounded when it comes to offensive boards. They've had a couple of turnovers in there as well. So that's probably why the game's a little bit closer than, they probably want it. But, there's plenty of time left for things to swing back the other way in their favor. I mean, it already is in their favor, but, there's a couple other key stats which I think they'd want to be on top of. They probably want to rub out any chance of the Cavs winning this game purely by, limiting those offensive rebounds, limiting the free throw number, because the Cavaliers would have had a really bad first quarter if they weren't able to get to the free throw line. So, second quarter is awaiting. With plenty of work to be done for both teams, because by no means was it perfect in this first quarter that's just gone. Second quarter has commenced though, And it'll be the Cavaliers getting into it through Levert. And now Merrill on the outside. Potential moving screen there by Allen, which had McLaughlin decked and, trailing the play. Merrill had the open shot. Gobert's back in the game. Fumbled the pass, but batted it back out to Anderson. Dubbed slow-mo. He shoots that. Jumper in the mid-range pretty slowly, but he was able to score and get Minnesota up by 7. That is their largest lead of the game. And then Niang has been hit with an illegal screen, which could have easily happened on the previous possession. But instead, the Cavaliers will just have to cop that one on the chin. And Gobert immediately comes back in the game. And if they can get that switch off the ball, then Niang's going to have his hands full. Because, mate, he's having a few issues guarding on the inside for sure. So McLaughlin, Morris, Anderson, Gobert, and Alexander Walker. So 2 bigs. Or, well, 2 taller players and then 2 guards. Anderson can't get the bounce off the rim. And Gobert was well held as he was trying to chase up that offensive board. The 1-2 with Morris. Levert's got it here. And it's a 3-second call. And it's on Gobert, but I don't really know what Gobert's supposed to do if he's defending on the inside. Like, they were attacking the basket. I'm not really sure what he's supposed to do there, yet they've called the 3-second call, which has been a lot more commonplace this season. And so the Cavaliers are able to tack on another point. Or sorry, I think it was a technical foul on Rudy Gobert. That's what the extra point was for. 6-point game. Cavaliers in possession. Merrill on the move. McLaughlin could not keep up, and he knocks down the 3 after he wraps around that Allen screen. So Merrill shooting 41% from 3 this season. He's not going to miss too many. Especially those ones that are wide open. That's shooting practice. So 3-point game. Open 3 here for Morris, who can respond. He doesn't. In pursuit is Gobert. Behind the back. The handle. The pass to McLaughlin. The second chance points go down. And McLaughlin with the 3 to get it back up to half a dozen. Gobert making shit happen. Levert the response. Yes! And he's been able to get his first 3-pointer on the board after being short on his first 3-point try in the first quarter early on. Alexander Walker to Anderson. The kick out to Morris. The same spot. And he converts. The net didn't even move. So all of a sudden, we've had a little bit of sting added to this game when it comes to the offensive punch. Levert was fouled on that pass as he was trying to find Niang in the corner, flinging it across the body. So McLaughlin has had some great minutes off the bench. Hit a couple of 3s early. And it's really corresponded with some good success early on in this second quarter. Alexander Walker's been in foul trouble for basically the entire game. He's already got 3 personals with that foul pickup, and he's going to have to go to the bench. So Conley back in. Levert, well defended by Conley here. The drive, gets inside. Gobert was there and was able to force the miss. Levert is a little bit upset. He's talking to the ref. Bit of dialogue the other way. And another open 3 for McLaughlin. He's hit another one. And I would sense the Cavaliers are going to call a timeout. Surely. No, they're going to let this run. And then the Cavaliers nearly lost the ball again. Merrill, the response? No. And a rebound by Mike Conley. So, wow, McLaughlin's been a difference maker. They're playing 3 guards on the court right now. And defensively aren't seeming to be punished. They're short on that push shot there. I think there was a block from behind. Morris in transition takes it to the other end and scores, falling to the floor over Gobert. He cuts it back down to 7. Oh my goodness, McLaughlin, this time drives it and rolls it back out to Anderson, who's going to take it in. Shot over Niang, doesn't get the bounce. Allen bats it to space. And a rebound for Morris, picked up by McLaughlin. Allen's going to take it inside early in the offense. Gobert never got back. And it's back down to a 5-point deficit for the Cavaliers. That's really smart play. And the Cavaliers were assertive in getting it down low. Allen's strong take. And he's got 9 points and 7 boards on great shooting. Good wraparound there by Morris, who saw a bit of an opening to get a shot up. Instead, he's going to try cook on the other Morris, the Cavaliers. Conley takes it inside, over the top of Allen. I don't know how he's mustered that up, but he scores for 2 more, and the lead's back up to 7. So the offense is, well, normalized and gone back to the mean. Allen gets it swatted by Gobert. Just as I say that, both teams shooting at 50% or above in this quarter. Morris guarded by LeVert on the outside. He went under the screen. Now the pass to Conley, who's picked up by Marcus Morris. The turnaround, Jay, is off as it hits back iron. And Allen, wow. Allen, I don't think committed the foul. He's had a pretty good quarter batting it to his teammates. But on that occasion, it looks like there was a loose ball foul under the basket, and it's going to go the way of Minnesota. So they'll have the ball after the timeout. But they lead by 7. They've gotten a little bit of breathing space. They've scored the 13 points here in this second quarter. And the Cavaliers have also scored 11. So fair to say that we've had a little bit of a better viewing experience here in the second when it comes to the scoring output. If you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you are new as well. 38-31 the score. And Cavaliers, man, they are really stinking it up offensively. Even for all the improvement they've had. I mean, the 3-point shooting has improved in the second quarter just gradually. LeVert's hit 1. And Sam Merrill's also hit 1. But still, those percentages are pretty dire. The less turnovers they can have and the more offensive rebounds they can get, the better position they're going to be. From a Minnesota standpoint, Edwards really hasn't been the focal point. It's been Jordan McLaughlin off the bench, who has got the 9 points. He's got the best plus-minus on the team so far today. And it's been because of him, really. The units he's been a part of have really spearheaded, some good offense. And that assist number, we were talking about how in the first quarter it was lacking. In the second quarter, it's really beefed up. It's at 9 assists now. And it sort of correlates with, the field goals they've been making. But I think they've assisted on 6 of their last 7 field goals. So the ball movement's really doing them wonders. And McLaughlin has been a huge part of that. Even though he doesn't even have an assist. He's been the one on the receiving end of all those passes. Naz Reid had a great first quarter, though. He's got the 10 points. And really, a pretty turnover-free game in this one. It's been a good watch. Been a really good watch so far. But Minnesota really need to just hammer down on this good second quarter form. Anthony Edwards has found it pretty tough here in this game so far. So I'm interested to see what the response is going to be, for sure, from him. Because the mid-ranges aren't working. He's tried a couple bankers. He's tried a couple layups, and Allen's been there, or another, big for the Cavaliers has been there and deterred the layup. He's gotten a free throws on one instance, but I sense he's going to have a pretty tough game regardless today. He had a tough game the last time he played the Cavaliers. He shot 7 of 27, as we mentioned earlier. So, a couple of trends from the previous game have seeped into this one. Conley hits another 3. The Cavaliers have not been able to defend the 3-point line too effectively here in this second quarter. They've given up, I think, 4 3-pointers already. And we're not even halfway in. LeVert, harassed by Monte Morris. LeVert gets inside. Bit of a body bump. The kick out to Okoro, who I think is a little bit scarred from his 2 air balls from 3 That's why he passed it off. But LeVert wasn't able to do any better. He missed from the outside. And now Minnesota. The pass out to Reed. Picked up by LeVert. Lost the ball. Okoro with the steal. In transition, it's a 3-on-1. Reed was trailing the play and nearly got across to help. But the Cavaliers get the 2 points and capitalize on the break. Gets the lead back down to under 10 in single digits. Conley changes gears. Flings it back out to Morris. Now the screen by Reed and the switch. He's got Niang guarding him. Top of the key. Behind the back. Shoots at the elbow. Rims out. Rebound Merrill. Good box out by Allen. And we're into the second half of this second quarter here. Niang in the corner. Gets by Reed. Extra pass to Allen. Takes a dribble. Lost his footing. The kick out to Merrill. The 3 is good. And they worked that one out pretty well, the Cavaliers. Well played. 5-point deficit. Cavaliers have hit 3 threes on 6 shots in this quarter, which is far better than what they were delivering in the first. But the problem is they've conceded 4 threes from 5 attempts. Jordan McLaughlin accounting for a couple of those. Reed goes inside, shoots over Okoro. It's good defense. LeVert swoops, and they can cut into this deficit once more. And they've responded multiple times when they've... Oh, wow. LeVert just blew the layup. And that would have been a huge moment there, because that would have capped off a 7-0 run. Instead, McLaughlin is open the other way, and it is an absolute practice shot of a 3, and it looks like we're going to get a timeout. Nope, the clock is going to keep running. And LeVert gets into it quickly, so quickly that, well, the camera didn't even pick it up. And the Cavaliers cut it back down to 6. McLaughlin inside, kick out to Reed, catch and shoot 3, it's short. Allen with the rebound, much more favoured with his positioning. And now LeVert will pass it out to Merrill. LeVert going to drive inside. Kick out to Niang on the wing. He's got Reed guarding. He goes down the middle. Gobert is there. Niang flips it up and in. Gets it to go +1. And that is going to result in another free throw for Niang. Cut it back to a single possession margin now. It was up at 10 about a minute and a half ago, but the Cavaliers have really knuckled down and gotten this one to a more comfortable sort of lead. So Niang had a cracker of a game the last time he played. The Minnesota Timberwolves, he had 16 points. He hit 4 threes on good efficiency. Naz Reid, with 3 personals, he's off. So that's going to favour the Cavaliers, because obviously that size they have to deal with, Gobert and Naz Reid. Essentially 2 centers when you look at their build. That's going to favour Niang a little bit more now that he has to guard Kyle Anderson instead. So 44-41 with the conversion of that free throw there by Niang. McDaniels definitely travelled, took an extra step, and it's going to be Cavalier ball. So they were down 41-31. It is now... What on earth is McDaniels doing? A technical foul on McDaniels, because the referee wanted the basketball, and McDaniels has put up a shot from 3, basically just ignored what the referee said, and that is a very careless foul to give away. As soon as he committed the travel, almost a frustration technical, but very, very avoidable. It's like he went out of his way to commit that technical and sort of sabotage his team a little bit. That's just a really dumb technical to give away. But from McDaniels, his perspective, you definitely cannot dispute that. He's got no argument for that. Just a brain fade. High proportion. The Cavaliers also have the ball, so they can actually take the lead here. McDaniels jumped as Garland pump faked. However, Garland wasn't able to capitalize there. Now Edwards to Gobert on the roll. Pass to Anderson in the dunker spot, gives it to McDaniels, and there is a foul in the corner, and it's Okoro who picks it up, who I believe was trying to grab that steal. Instead, it's going to be a foul on him, and it's going to be Minnesota ball. So, ball inbounded to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it's Edwards guarded by Okoro. That's been the assignment all day. Gobert in the middle. Bounce pass to Anderson. I don't know what Gobert's thinking. He had Levert on him. Definitely should have looked to back him down. Instead, he looked for Anderson down low, and the pass was misdirected. So it's going to be Cavalier ball. 3 or so minutes to play. Levert. Across to Garland, the kick out to Morris, the pump fake, gets by Anderson, but he was able to pickpocket. And now Minnesota in transition. Edwards is fouled going up by Levert. It's going to be 2 shots. And it's been a very foul-heavy first half, even though the free throws probably don't indicate it as much. If you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you are new. We'll be doing a few more neutral games for the rest of the season. And that's on top of the usual Nets games. We'll have a look at the box score, and you can see McLaughlin is leading the way scoring-wise for Minnesota. But here's some keys to the game as to why the Cavaliers have been able to claw their way back into this. First and foremost, Naz Reid has not scored in the second quarter. And Anthony Edwards has also not scored in the second quarter. I mean, they have not played too many minutes to this stage in the second, but when you've got McLaughlin as your leading scorer, I think that's a bit of a red flag. They are shooting the ball well from the field and 3, but turnover heavy in the last couple of minutes, and their free throw number has really let them down. They haven't really gotten to the line either in this second quarter. So yeah, but the Cavaliers, after having a really shocking start from 3, they were 1 of 8 at quarter time. They have done much better in the second quarter from that spot. Shooting 3 of 6, they've gotten to the line a little bit as well. The rebound numbers are very even, and the turnovers, they've been pretty responsible. Only the 3 turnovers. So, they're doing the right things to keep themselves in this game. No one in double figures for the Cavaliers, but they have got a little bit more bench scoring as a whole. Every single player off the bench has scored, albeit not all that efficiently. Their field goal percentage was pretty poor in the first quarter as well. I think it was 6 of 24. So they've gone 8 of 16 here in the second quarter, which is a huge plus. And, they've gone on a pretty nice run at this stage in the last couple of minutes to claw themselves back into it. Because, they were down 10 at one stage here in this second quarter, but they've responded really, really well. And the scoreline now sits at 2. So they're sitting pretty comfortably. And with about 2 minutes 50 to play here in this second quarter, I believe it's going to be Cavalier ball. So, winding down here in this second quarter, I've actually really enjoyed covering this game because these sort of teams don't really get too much love. But Minnesota have got something going for them. The Pelicans as well, they're having a cracking season. The Magic, the Pacers, a lot of teams playing some really good basketball this season. Edwards is going to the line. I completely forgot that he got fouled prior to the timeout. So 2 free throws will ensue. So Edwards at the line. Made the first, made the second, gets it back up to a 2-possession game with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left here in this first half. It's Okoro on the outside handing it off to Morris. Garland on the wraparound. Off-ball screen set for him by Thompson. Kicks it out to the corner for Okoro, and now Morris in the middle. Steps back and scores the deep 2 and cuts it back down to 2. So it's been a really solid performance by the Cavaliers here in this second half to claw it back. Conley, the kick out to McDaniels. Thompson read the pass. Gobert was able to bat it to himself. The kick out now to Conley, one-on-one with Garland. Gonna drive it in, gets one up off the glass, it's off, and the Cavaliers get the long rebound. They have the numbers, it's a 3-on-2. Merrill's open on the wing, catch and shoot 3, knocks it down, the sniper, and he gets the Cavaliers back in front, which I don't think you really could have seen coming when they brought Anthony Edwards back onto the court. There's an open 3 for McDaniels. The response is no good. Edwards was able to end up with the offensive rebound, but he was short on that little push shot from about 5 feet away from the basket. They've done all this with Tristan Thompson on the court as the center. Morris is the 4. Garland the scoop from the clouds. And now the Cavaliers up 3. Gobert out to Anderson. Blow by, but he blew the layup. And now the Cavaliers can extend the lead further. Knocked away from behind by Anderson, but it ends up with the Cavaliers still. Okoro to Morris. Now the handoff to Garland. Went off his leg, and I think it's going to be... No, it is not going to be Cavalier ball. Garland hit the deck as he was trying to pick the ball up. And those flashy New Balance shoes that he's got worn tonight, well, they didn't do him much of a good service there because Garland caved in from underneath. And it's going to be Minnesota ball in the corner. So they'll look to get some offense here late in the quarter. They can settle for a 2-for-1 if they kill the clock. Kill much of the clock. Instead, McDaniels goes himself and lost it going up. It's a board for Morris, and Morris is going to take it in. Pass to the corner for Okoro. Merrill's on the move. Another open 3. That one's off. And Gobert with the rebound. So they will hold. It was an execution of a 2-for-1 for the Cavaliers. There's an 8-second difference between shot and game. Edwards goes quickly, blows another layup. Gobert with the board, blocked from behind, didn't get the call. The Cavaliers have the numbers. It's going to be a 5-on-4. No, it's not. Gobert definitely, I think, was hit. But Allen wasn't able to get to the other end of the court in time without Gobert running with. There's going to be a foul with 3 seconds left. Let's have a look if there was a foul there. Definitely a clean block. The follow-through hit Gobert on the face. So the foul on the floor. They got 3 to shoot. Garland, the pump fake. The jab step gets through. The push shot is short. And that is the halftime break. The Cavaliers... That's the quarter done. The Cavaliers, what a fight back at the back end of the quarter. They looked in dire straits in the middle portion of that second quarter, but they were able to really turn things around, and they lead this one by 3 going into halftime. They outscored Minnesota 29-21 in the second quarter, and at one stage they were down 41-31, so they've gone on an 18-5 extended run at the back end of the quarter inside the final 4 or 5 minutes of that half. So great job by them. And you can see, like, the scoring hasn't really highlighted a key focal point for them on the offensive side of the ball. It's been a very team-oriented sort of offense. Sam Merrill, great second quarter. He got 10 points, I think all of them in this second quarter just gone. Played 15 minutes in that first half, and that is very much the same as the starting 5. They were 1 of 8 at quarter time from 3. And 4 of 8 in that second quarter. So great work by them. Kept the turnovers down, got to the free throw line. The percentages have sort of gone up gradually as these guys have started to make more shots. Garland's been highly inefficient, but You've got the likes of Allen with 9 points, 9 rebounds. Levert's got 7. He's done some nice things. And even off the bench, Marcus Morris hasn't done too bad of a job creating his own shot. So overall, a pretty even match. The scoreboard suggests that Anthony Edwards has definitely been well held. I find it very, very interesting. There have been a lot of open layups for Minnesota, or layups that, I mean, I know as a Nets supporter, if I was watching the Nets play Minnesota, the Nets would definitely be giving away layups like that, and they would actually be scoring them. In this game, they haven't been able to complete the job. They've been able to bypass the initial defender. Sometimes they've had the open look there, like Kyle Anderson had an open one at the back end of the quarter and wasn't able to score. Edwards has missed quite a few on the inside. And even Rudy Gobert, he hasn't been too aggressive. Only the 3 points, only the 2 shots being put up. I would have thought, given the free throws he got early in the game, they'd look to feed him a little bit more. Naz Reid didn't score in the second quarter, so the offense really dried up. If it wasn't for Jordan McLaughlin scoring 3 threes and not missing, I don't know where Minnesota would be here in this halftime break. They would definitely have to regroup. They have had more turnovers than the Cavaliers. They've done a good job of sort of trimming down the amount of offensive rebounds they give away, whilst also getting a few of their own. But look, for that 3-point percentage, they should not only have 46 points. Like, on the inside, you look at their percentage when you break it down, 10 of 30 from inside the arc. That is staggering. And I feel like it's sort of been contagious. It's just gone through the whole team. Because there's been layups that your good players should be making, your role players should be making. Heck, an NBA player should just be making, full stop. And they haven't been able to complete the job. So they would probably be a little bit disappointed with the way they've gone to this point. Because there's been quite a few shots off the mark. Do I do March Madness? I just don't have a clue about what goes on in college basketball, so I'm not going to be one to do March Madness. I just don't follow it. I don't know who I would follow. Yeah, I'm not really that invested. Yeah. So that is the half. If we look at the team comparison real quick, you can see the percentages are very different, yet the shots being made from certain areas are sort of similar. I mean, Minnesota 7 threes, Cavaliers 5 threes. Free throws are definitely more in favor of the Cavs. The rebounding's very similar. The assist numbers, it hasn't been a high assist game. Like, it's been pretty isolation dominant. The only time we really saw a lot of or a higher assist sort of game was when McLaughlin was hitting the threes. That's when we saw a ton of shots going down, very fluent. But outside of that little stretch, which went for about 3 to 4 minutes for Minnesota, they've really struggled elsewhere. Turnovers been low, blocks and steals pretty similar, but there's been a lot of deflections, a lot of transition play, especially with all the misses that we've seen so far. So, second quarter is definitely going to hold a lot of intrigue. But yeah, that is the first half done and dusted. If there is anything you want to see, I mean, look at this. 80% chance of winning middle of the second quarter when they were up by 10. And now that chance is at 55%. I mean, obviously the win probability is all subjective, but, you know, the chances of winning have significantly gone down with that little run by the Cavaliers at the end of the quarter. So, pretty good first half when you look at it all for the Cavaliers, especially with their lack of, firepower that they're missing, or that they don't have in the game today. No Mitchell, no Strus, no Mobley, no Dean Wade. They're missing a lot of players. So, credit to them for hanging around And yeah, it's going to be a pretty cracking second half, if you ask me. What are your thoughts if you're a Cavaliers or um yeah, if you're a Cavalier or Minnesota supporter, let me know what your thoughts are on this game so far, because it's pretty interesting sort of match for sure. Um, yeah, pretty tough to gauge who's going to have the advantage in the second half. I would definitely say that it's nailed on that the Cavaliers have the run of momentum, but whether or not that actually converts into the second half, like the break could actually do them a disservice. Alrighty. There are some good games going on around the grounds as well. Um, Let me just have a look at those. With regards to other stats, though, for this game specifically, um, hold on a second. Let me just grab it now. Okay. So stats for the other games, or for this game that I have not mentioned yet. The second chance points very even, 9-7 Minnesota's way. Fast break points 7-6 the Cavaliers' way. Points in the paint. Despite Allen and Gobert, well, having quite a few free throws, we haven't seen too many points in the paint. Both sides haven't really looked to capitalize there. Points off turnovers 7-2 Cavaliers' way. That would make sense because they've forced a few more turnovers, but it really hasn't been a high fast break, second chance point sort of game. There haven't been too many. There's been a fair bit of hustle, but there hasn't been too much, too much conversion when it comes to the actual points. Point side of things. So yeah, that is the half done. Let me know if you are enjoying this stream I'm doing, because obviously I don't watch too much basketball outside of, I don't watch too much basketball outside of Nets games, so these games are sort of a great way to gauge what's going on around the league, and also get a few more NBA fans involved with the channel and that sort of thing. So, I'm actually enjoying this because I'm learning what good defense looks like, because as a Nets fan, I barely see good defense on most occasions. So it's refreshing to see two defensive schemes that are going against each other, and there's no one clearly, it's not lopsided, So yeah. Alrighty. Around the grounds, we've got the Heat down by 2 as the second quarter begins against the Pels. That is a great game as well, where McCollum's got 12. There's no... Wow, Zion Williamson has not scored a point after having scored 20 plus in his last 6. He's been held scoreless, but they still lead. Alvarado with 9 off the bench. And then for Miami, Butler's got 12. Jovic has got 10. He's actually... Looks like he's starting because they don't have any Bam... Well, they do have Bam Adebayo. Patty Mills is starting the second half for some weird reason. And Jaquez is on the bench. Interesting call. Spurs are beating Memphis, but Memphis have gone on a 21-5 run. Aldama's got 11 for them. G.G. Jackson with 7 off the bench. Wembanyama's got 15. Vassell's got 13. And then we've already had some completed games as well. Boston destroyed Detroit, and OKC killed Toronto. I just want to see who played for Boston. No Jason Tatum. No Jrue Holiday and Noel Horford, yet they still scored 129 points because Hauser scored 14, Pritchard scored 20, Brown scored 33. I mean, they just have so many players ready to perform. Like Derek White getting 9 free throws. Hauser making 4 threes. Pritchard making 4 threes and shooting above 50% from the field. Like, crazy how deep the Celtics go. Crazy. I would assume the second half is probably going to start pretty soon. Okay. So, yeah. And if you are enjoying this stream, make sure to drop a like as well. I would appreciate it if you did. Okay. Second half getting ready to start. Okay. So it looks like the second half is getting ready to begin. Both sides doing shoot around right now. In case you've missed it, the Minnesota Timberwolves got out to a 10-point lead in the midpoint of that second quarter, but then the Cavaliers responded 18-5 run to end the second quarter in the back end of that first half. And they've got the lead going into this third quarter, which is definitely ideal from their standpoint. This game's got pretty big implications for both teams. I mean, Minnesota are chasing the top. They are, I believe, 2 games away from the summit of the West. And from an Eastern Conference standpoint, the Cavaliers are pretty close to Milwaukee for the 2 spot, but they just have to remain afloat without Donovan Mitchell, because otherwise they're probably going to see that 2 spot slip further and further away, which means obviously that is the difference between playing a team that comes out of the play-in and a team that automatically gets into the top 6. So definitely a lot to play for with these sort of games here. And it's going to be there for the taking because definitely it's been a tough first half. Both teams have had their struggles, but the defense is really holding them both together. Let's just say that. So, second quarter keys, I mean, the broadcast are doing it for me, but Minnesota, when they move the ball, were getting open threes left, right, and center. Those open looks were well on offer. But, yeah, I think that's going to be the main key for them. The second chance points are low. And, the free throw number, they weren't too good at the line, Minnesota. They went 5 of 9, so left quite a few points on the table that could come back to bite them. But it's really Rudy Gobert who accounts for all those misses. So, excuse me, not really too much you can blame them for. At least they're getting to the line. That's a good starting point. Garland stood on the sideline, so a pretty poor way to start the second half there. So 49-46, still no score in this second half. After that one possession, Minnesota are looking to feed Edwards here. Good off-ball screen by Gobert to force the switch, but Edwards was well short. Minnesota end up with a long rebound, and Edwards is going to shoot a step-back baseline J that also rims out, and Thompson with the board. So, interesting. Jarrett Allen is not starting the second half. Neither is Naz Reid. Thompson, the push shot goes, and the Cavaliers have a 5-point lead. I don't know what their largest lead is, but I think it would be damn close to the current margin. 51-46 early going second half. Conley is blitzed, is able to retain his dribble. LeVert nearly got the steal. McDaniels, pass to Anderson, the kick out to Conley. One more to Edwards, steps into a three. It's good. And it's back down to 2. Good start for Minnesota. They needed that, 100%. And Edwards needed that. Only the 2 field goals made in the first half. LeVert, open 3. The response is good. Swish. And it is a 5-point lead again. Every time Minnesota have looked like, well, every time they've looked like they've got something going, Cavaliers always there to respond. Edwards, wow. Absolutely no awareness there, Kyle Anderson, as to where the sideline was. Edwards threw it way to Anderson's right, but he didn't look like he was all that hungry to get the ball. LeVert on the perimeter, picked up by Conley. Screen by Thompson. LeVert goes inside, completely removed Conley from the play, who was standing next to the cameraman by the time it was all said and done with that push-off. But LeVert is going to take the 2 points if the referee ain't going to call it. So 7-point lead for the Cavs. I would say that's their largest of the game. Conley out to Anderson, picked up by Garland. Gets into the paint, shoots the 2, scores the 2 over the top of the smaller defender, and Anderson scores to cut it back down yet again. LeVert, the screen, the 3 on the pull-up, that is too long. Rebound, Minnesota. Anderson takes it inside, and now McDaniels, the reverse layup. Soft touch. Gets it back down to 3. 3 minutes have elapsed here in this second half so far, and we have had absolutely no changes made to the scoreboard and the dynamics of that. Niang took a dribble, missed the 3, but Thompson with the offensive board. Tristan Thompson looking for LeVert. Pass was cut off. Okoro on the outside, lost the ball on the drive. Well deflected by Anderson. They have the numbers. Edwards completely got decked, and Niang is irate at the decision. It's going to be Cavaliers conceding the foul. Let's have a look at that decision. But first, they show the reverse by McDaniels there with the length. Looks like they're not even going to show the foul. So 56-53. Edwards looks a little bit ginger there. That's knocked out of play from the inbound, so that will go again. Edwards is just flexing that. I don't know if it's his knee or his quad. He does not look great on the side there. 3 by Conley. He was fouled on the outside, so this will give Edwards a bit of time to recover, but it looks like he's calling for the sub to be made on the side. Have a look what happened there. You couldn't see like any lockup or... Oh, well, he did get his leg... He did get his right leg sort of tied up there. And he put all his weight on that one leg. Sort of hopped on that right knee. So that's probably where the potential limp could have been summoned. But it looks like he may go to the bench now. Niang's also gone off. So both players involved in that little tie-up are going to be out. Allen is in the game. So very interesting start to the second half rotation-wise for the Cavs. So maybe they were running with the fact that the Thompson lineup did work at the back end of the quarter, but They've called Allen in for stability now. And Naz Reid has also checked in. Garland with the pace. Allen, the push shot, is good. Very nice looking shot there. Straight in and straight away with an impact. Garland had an open man on the wing, but he just passed it up for a much shorter, yet more higher percentage option. Minnesota missed the three on the outside, but they get the offensive board and they will reload through Edwards, who is still in the game. I thought he was off. He's going to try cook on Caris LeVert. He backs him down, gets inside, pulls up for two, and that's a very high percentage look. 57-58 the score, and Okoro was nowhere to be found. Didn't look too affected there by the injury that he could have sustained a couple possessions ago. Garland. Pump fake. Gobert was there to protect the shot, and now he will try cook on that matchup again. Garland trying to lose him. It's great defense by Gobert. And now McDaniels in transition. As they got the steal, there was a foul, and it's going to be two shots. That is superb play by Rudy Gobert. Garland with a pretty exceptional handle. He didn't look like he lost it at any stage, but Gobert just absolutely wasn't bypassed. That is just superb defending. For a center that that seemingly immobile, he was awfully mobile on that play. Was able to keep Garland in front at all times. And with 7:15 to play, McDaniels got two, but he did miss the first free throw, and he makes the second. So Minnesota continue to have a few woes at the free throw line. They've missed now, I believe, 5 or 6 free throws. But that free throw count, which the Cavaliers were on top of at halftime, have now, well, I think they're now trailing in that respect. LeVert definitely was fouled from behind by Conley. It was a good change of direction. LeVert dove to the rim. That run was honored. And LeVert, who had the defender on his back shoulder, was fouled, and he's going to go to the free throw line for 2. So just as I say that Minnesota have started to pile on the free throws, and the Cavaliers really haven't shown much response in that regard, they're doing so right here. So they get the lead back off that first free throw made there by Caris LeVert. 1 free throw to come here. And the second is converted there by Caris LeVert, sorry. Conley on the outside. We're at the halfway stage here. Edwards, bit of miscommunication, man. Edwards had an easy lane to the rim and was able to score with the Euro step, tied at 60 apiece. And now the Cavaliers will need to respond again. Garland, the push shot was wide open. Fair bit of space on offer. And the Cavaliers get it back up to 2 again. 6:30 to play. Conley inside. Another layup. Same result. Far too easy by the Cavaliers. Last couple possessions, the intensity defensively looks to have dropped. Conley's got 11 now in the game. Allen out to Morris. Gets inside. Oh, wow, that's deflected. Pass very much wayward. Edwards is going to look to cook again. He's got LeVert guarding him again. Skip pass to McDaniels. Conley on the wing. Gets by the defender. Lost the handle. Got it back. The lob to Gobert is good. And the Minnesota Timberwolves have the lead back. Huge. And I just heard by the broadcast, 8 consecutive possessions. Well done by Mike Conley again. It looked like he was going to get that pass knocked out of play, but instead he was able to actually recover it falling out of bounds, knocked it off LeVert, and the ball went back out of play. So it's going to be Minnesota ball. They have not come up empty on their last 8 possessions. Which is just superb. I mean, they're having a really good stretch here in this third quarter. They've already scored 19 points in the period. Granted, they've not scored more than 25 in a quarter today. So they're having a cracking third quarter for sure. If you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you are new. We'll be doing some neutral watch-alongs for the rest of the season, alongside the Nets watch-alongs that I usually do. Alrighty. So we'll do a little box score check. And I need this updated. Looks like it already is updated. You can see that Anthony Edwards, this third quarter, he's absolutely gotten more involved. He's scored 7 points in the period, even though Naz Reid hasn't really scored since the first quarter. Mike Conley has been a great source of offense. In the first half, we couldn't really say this for Minnesota. Naz Reid was the only starter in double figures. So they needed a response, and they've definitely gotten it. And it's their bigger players that have needed to come up and, really set the precedent for their team, and they've done a good job of that. And it's been Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards in the last couple of minutes that have really got the ticker going. For the Cavaliers, 14 to LeVert. Allen's got 11 points. But an interesting ploy to play Tristan Thompson the start of the third quarter, as opposed to Jarrett Allen, and then bring him in at the 8:30 mark. I found that really intriguing, because I don't really see too many coaches doing that for one of their better players when they're already depleted. It's an interesting call. Garland's really going to have to lift. At the next timeout, we're probably going to have to... At the next timeout, we're definitely going to have to suss what his percentages are, because I think he's like 3 of 12, 3 of 13. Yeah, he's found it pretty tough on the offensive side today. Edwards, bounce pass to Gobert, great roll, and the 2. Good completion of the play, straight out of the timeout. That's exactly what you wanted if you were looking at things from a Minnesota perspective. They're 8 of 11 in the quarter from the field. The Cavaliers are 5 of 7, but it will count for naught if you can't get stops on the other end. And they come up short on a 3-pointer there through Garland, which we just mentioned was having a really rough game. Edwards in the mid-range, it's off. Allen is able to secure the rebound, falling out of bounds. Good boxing out there again. They've done a pretty good job of that today. Morris to the corner for Okoro. Nearly stood on the sideline. Going to pass to Allen in the middle. Takes it in. The layup doesn't get the angle. Good defense, Gobert. Edwards with the board. And we're in the final 5 minutes of this third quarter here. Edwards nearly lost the ball. Flings it to the corner for Reid. Gets inside. Kick out to McDaniels in the corner. Merrill, good defense. The turnaround J by McDaniels is tough, but he's able to convert that one as well. And Minnesota got a fair bit going on the offensive side here. 8-0 run in the last 2 minutes has given them this nice sizable 6-point advantage. At a good time in this third quarter, Okoro's 3 is badly off. He's actually been a good 3-point shooter this season, but today, really struggling. 2 air balls in amongst his misses today. He has not made one. Gobert goes down low, shoots off the glass, and wasn't able to convert. It was misdirected. A board by Merrill, and he'll give it to Garland, who's wide open for 3. What on earth is their defense doing there? Very lucky that Garland's having an off night, because that one on a good day is a nailed-on 3-pointer. Edwards inside. Bounce pass out to Morris. Gobert is still on the ground, and he took a good 5 seconds to get up. Edwards on the baseline over Okoro. Tough shot is off. Rebound there by Morris. So a little bit less ball movement here in the last few moments here by Minnesota. Definitely not what has gotten them this nice lead here in the third quarter. Garland gets inside, and he's going to roll Gobert back out to the outside, who defended him well a couple possessions ago. The step back 2 is an air ball, and Gobert had to have gotten a piece of that. That's superb defense yet again. McDaniels in the corner for 3. It rims out, and another board by Morris. So, God, both teams are limping to the finish. McDaniels got the steal. Morris didn't even get past the half-court line, and McDaniels hangs and scores for 2. That is incredibly careless. Wow. What on earth is he thinking? This 10-0 run has not been explosive by any stretch. A 4-minute run where they've scored 10 points isn't good by any standard. Garland misses, though. They have not scored in the same amount of time. And it looks like Chris Finch is going to call a timeout. So 2:15 to play here in the third, and Minnesota are getting some breathing space. But keep in mind, this is the breathing space they had in the second quarter, yet weren't able to hold on to. So Garland leading the offense has not been it. At least that's what I've gathered. Yeah. There's been some real struggle there from a Garland perspective. Let's have a look at the box score. And you will see that, well, we haven't seen too much more offense here since we last checked. But Garland is 4 of 16. He has not made a 3. He's only got the 9 points as well. So he's been properly struggling. They probably should be looking to get like a Merrill, a few more open looks, and even just drive it in. They've had 4 turnovers in the quarter, which I think they did a great job of keeping a firm grip on in the first half. I think they actually had 4 turnovers in the first half, so they've really ballooned that here in the second half. And Marcus Morris has 4 turnovers, so he has been probably the biggest culprit of them all. And their offensive rebounding's really dried up. So a lot of things that got them the lead in the first half and kept them in the game is the thing that's, well, unsurprisingly, giving Minnesota the breathing space they need. Minnesota haven't really turned it over here in this third quarter. They're shooting the 3 ball well, even though they've only scored 1 here in this quarter. The free throw percentage is really leaving a fair bit to be desired, but their field goal percentage has gone up. It was really tough viewing earlier on in the contest, but I think at halftime they were 10 of 30 from inside the arc, and they've now proceeded to get that up to 19 of 44. So they're 9 of 14 inside the arc. There hasn't been as much resistance on the inside. Anthony Edwards isn't shooting the ball well as he would like, I would imagine. But at least he's doing a much better job this quarter of getting inside and really testing the interior defense of the Cavaliers. And they've been pretty much no-shows here in this third quarter. A lot of rebounds on the table for Minnesota as well. I mean, 10 boards to Edwards, and it's the third quarter, and he's only played 25 minutes. Is sort of a bit tough to wrap my head around, but I don't think there's too many complaints there. So we've got 2.5 minutes to play here in this third quarter, and this is a big 2.5 minutes for the Cavaliers because, yeah, they've had a rough quarter. Only the 13 points to show for their efforts here in the third, whilst Minnesota have, you know, on a decent sort of pace, but yeah. I mean, they're definitely doing a better job here in this third quarter, outscoring the Cavaliers by 11. They've scored 24 in the quarter, so the defense is really getting it done. The Cavaliers haven't been good enough to make their shots. Garland is now on the bench, so let's see if their offense looks a little bit better without him on the floor. Allen fakes the handoff. Good pass out to Okoro. He's got 2 to shoot, 1 to shoot. As the shot clock expires, converts the layup, and Allen with the dime was a great feed. He could have sent it to the corner, but Minnesota had read that, and it was a good recognition by J.A. to send it to the wing instead. Edwards weaves through. Okoro looks a little bit ginger. Looks like he got hit in the face as a Minnesota player. Well, a Minnesota player. Wow. Oh my goodness. As a Minnesota player blew by him. The Cavaliers have been blitzed on like 3 occasions in 10 seconds. Minnesota got the steal. Edwards out to Reed. Fake the pass. Reed gets inside. Nearly moved the pivot foot. Then gets one up. Doesn't get the bounce, but Anderson is there for the tip in. and the Cavaliers down 8. So Minnesota up 8, and now Niang with the ball. They are blitzing at nearly every opportunity when the pick and roll is set. LeVert is doubled. Now Allen on the outside is going to shoot a mid-range, and that is good looking. Man, I wish we had that on the nets right now. So a big shot there by JA to keep it at half a dozen. And now Edwards on the outside. The screen is set. Gets inside. The bounce pass to Reed. Defended by Okoro on the wing. Edwards guarded by Okoro now as they switch the play. Edwards is absolutely harassed. Doesn't get the bounce off the rim. That is incredibly good defense by Okoro. And that's basically a summarization of how things have gone for Anthony Edwards today when he's gotten on the inside. Barring a short period of time in the third, they've got 5 to shoot. LeVert, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. The shake and bake on Reed. Step back 2 as the clock expires. He wasn't able to get it to go. It hit back iron, and that is the quarter done. It's 66-72 as we enter the last. I would not suspect either team is going to crack the 100-point threshold. Minnesota end the quarter having scored 27 points, and whilst that isn't an explosive third quarter by any stretch offensively, they did hold the Cavaliers to 17 points, which has given them a nice healthy lead going into the last. Is it 17 points? Yeah, it is. No, wait. No, Minnesota had scored 26, should I say? Okay. So, box score time, Anthony Edwards, as we've said, 14 points, 10 boards, 3 dimes. Today, Gobert's been very solid defensively. The 13 rebounds as well. He's got 4 of those offensive. He's recycled a few possessions there for Minnesota, which are going to come in handy. I don't know why it's got Philly and Milwaukee there at the bottom, and it's probably shown that all game, which is incredibly annoying because I literally fixed that. Hold on a second. Should not be stream overlay. Should be box score. I'll quickly fix this up for y'all. Okay, hang on. Where is it? Who am I looking for? The Cavaliers. There we go. That's 1. And then Minnesota are the other team. And they've got to go here. Don't mind me. That should fix it up. There we go. Okay. Fix the score up. And then for the Cavaliers, 14 points for LeVert. No clear number 1 option today. Allen's got 13 and 12. He's had some great dimes in the mix as well. The key for the Cavaliers in the final quarter, Minnesota have really clamped down defensively. They can't afford to turn the ball over because as we saw in the third quarter, I mean, they only managed 17 points. They need as many possessions as they can possibly get. And ultimately, you know, they're not doing themselves any form of service by turning the ball over and giving Minnesota some easy looks in a game where offense hasn't been the focal point of the game. So you can't really afford the fast break points and that sort of thing that they've been giving away. Reed for 3. Good start to the last for Minnesota. They get in front by 9. That's a huge shot. Start of the last quarter. The first shot is going to be vital. It's a 5-point swing essentially because Cavaliers score the first bucket and it's a 2-possession game. Instead, we're looking at 3-4 possession game. Morris in the mid-range. That is difficult over Alexander Walker, who's got a shit ton of length attached to his frame. So that's a tough one. Now Anderson on the outside is going to try take on Niang. They basically look like the same player with Anderson just having a bit of a darker skin tone. Anderson scores over the top of his doppelganger. Allen looking for a pass. Good pass to Morris. It was well read, and it's going to be Minnesota's ball to... No, it's not. It's going to be Cavalier ball. Was knocked away by Minnesota. 10:44 to play last quarter, 77-66 the scoreline. Levert to Allen on the outside. They've defended far better here in this last few minutes. Allen had it knocked away. Morris chucks up the three as it expires and try to bank it in. Absolute prayer. And then Allen tries to go for the steal as Anderson went across half court. Anderson forced into a pass. Did not get the foul as Niang reached. Conley the step back three. Morris was wrong-footed and the lead's up to a dozen. That was a nasty step back. Morris was lost. All the way back in Cleveland, it seemed. Niang, drive, he hangs and gets the layup to go to get it down to 10. These are very important minutes to start the last, though. No Gobert and no Anthony Edwards on the court. So it's down to the role players to really keep this lead afloat. And they've opted to go with Conley over Morris. That's Monte Morris, of course. Great cut by Conley. Allen lost him. And the lead is back up to a dozen. And Minnesota look like they've definitely got the upper hand. A couple subs getting ready to check in for the Cavs. Garland is one of those. He's going to need a big, big last quarter if they're to have any chance. Niang got blocked by Conley. And they've got the steal again. McLaughlin to Reed. The drive. The dunk with the right hand. And you would assume there's going to be a timeout. Those team-lifting plays get the crowd involved, and usually that's when the opposition wants to bring it right down, suck the heat out of the game. But, mate, the Minnesota Timberwolves have made the move in this last 12 minutes of game time, I would say. Great work by them. And it's got the lead back up to 14. And that is their biggest lead of the game, for sure. So, proper good performance here by Minnesota here in recent times. And, I mean, it's all started with the defense. And the Cavaliers have really shit themselves. I mean, their three-point percentage and their field goal percentage is bad enough as is. But when you're turning the ball over, like, you just can't afford to do that. You just cannot. And look, Minnesota are shooting the ball really well. And I mean, like, the turnover count's down for them. They're running the break more often than not. And that's probably why they're really feeding into those high percentages. And it's sustaining itself because, well, there's not really any way to stop it. From a Cavaliers standpoint. They're really struggling with it. Okay. So, plenty of time for the Cavaliers to resuscitate this. But they don't have much time left, of course. 9 minutes to play, 14-point deficit. I mean, they say that 20-point leads are the new 12-point leads in the modern NBA because you can make those leads up in quick time. But the Cavaliers really have not got that player that can do this. The player that they need to resuscitate themselves is not in the game. He's not even available. So the Cavaliers are going to have to muster up some, like, random Dean Wade performance from the shadows, even though Dean Wade isn't playing. They're going to need, like, a Sam Merrill or a Niang to catch fire from the outside because they've really struggled from the outside today. But a couple threes wouldn't go astray. Alrighty. So I think Minnesota probably have this one in the bag, but look, I could definitely be mistaken for sure. Okay. It's been players like Conley and those sort of guys, Conley, McDaniels, McLaughlin earlier in the game, who really have just put on the clamps and scored some big buckets up the other end. Like, it hasn't been your typical plays that you would expect, you know? Thompson back in for the Cavaliers with no Allen on the floor. Levert, wow, they got 4 to shoot. They have done nothing with the possession. Levert lost his footing. Morris has to get one up, and he hits the 3 as the clock expires. What a bailout. And it's back down to 11. Fair bloody play. I thought they were absolutely screwed on that sequence, and that would have been a disaster because you would see the lead go up a little bit more if Minnesota are able to, you know, get the game on their terms. Conley's been a cracking player tonight. Couple big moments. The one that really stands out for me is when in the third quarter he knocked a pass away as they were looking for the shooter on the outside, the extra feed, and he was able to save it, save his own deflection, knock it off Levert, and then get possession. And right there, he nearly got the dime, but instead Reed wasn't able to complete the job. The Cavaliers can cut it back to single figures again. Levert the drive baseline, the extra feed to Thompson, gets one up with the right hand and scores for 2. It's back down to 9. But yeah, those plays by Conley are so important. I think it happened at a stage where Minnesota were, I think they were up 2. Wow, Anderson took an extra step and actually had me caught off guard. Wasn't able to complete the floater. Good defense by Niang. So now Levert will get inside, the kick out to Morris, pump fake, had it knocked away by Alexander Walker from behind, and it's going to be Cavalier ball as it was flung out of bounds. But yeah, that Conley play that I keep on talking about and can't complete my sentence for, that happened at a stage of the game where the Minnesota Timberwolves were really starting to, you know, complete the job in terms of that comeback. Or, you know, sort of wrestle back possession of the game, or that authority that is so coveted. That's something that they've really been chasing this whole game, because the Cavaliers have constantly wrestled it back. Garland, pass out to Levert. McLaughlin hit the deck. Niang for 3. It was that high that the camera needed to be adjusted on the broadcast. Minnesota get ahead. Anderson with the dunk. And he's bloody G'd up about it as well. Cavaliers caught napping. And the lead's back up to 13. Garland weaves through. Shoots with the right hand. It's a tough shot on the baseline to cut it back down again. But they got to get the stops. Minnesota are 7 of 9 in the quarter. The Cavaliers 5 of 9. And you know, the Cavaliers are actually doing a decent enough job here in this final quarter of getting shots up and scoring. I mean, they really struggled with that in the third quarter, but since Minnesota went on that run to get in the lead, they've just really, they've faced the brunt of it with Minnesota's offense. They've really not found a way to sort of quell the influence, stem the tide. Conley on the outside, lost Levert again. That one hits back on. It was well on line, just a little bit too long. Trajectory off. Garland in the paint. There's the foul, and he nearly got it to go. It looked very much on line, but it'll be free throws here. Cast your mind back to early in the game where Minnesota had a few role players on 3 personals. I don't even think they've had a foul since. So, fair to say the Cavaliers probably have really struggled in terms of what shot profile they're going for. It's been pretty undefined. The 3-pointers aren't going in. You know, the mid-ranges, they've taken quite a few of those, and the layups haven't always been on offer. So, you know, there's never been a clear sort of point of strength for them today from the offensive side of the ball. In order to win this game, they need to score 100 points. the Cavaliers, but do they have 22 points in them in the final 6.5 minutes? I'm not so sure. They're going to have to absolutely put the clamps on Minnesota, and they're going to have to fall off offensively as well. Garland is going to have a big part to play. He converts both free throws there. He's only made the 5 field goals on the night. He's shooting sub 33% from the field. So at that pace, they don't stand a chance. But anything can happen in the modern NBA. You know, no one's a pushover. And there's a steal there by the Cavaliers. Okoro gets his hands dirty. How is that not a foul? And I would have thought that had to be a foul, because Okoro definitely got on the ground, and Edwards didn't even look like he made a play on the ball. So, doesn't look like the Cavs assistants are too happy, because that definitely should have been a foul beforehand. But we're going to get a timeout here at the 6:14 mark, and the Cavaliers will have possession. They called a timeout just in the nick of time before the referees had a chance to call a jump ball and wrestle that play out of the Cavaliers' hands. They definitely worked for it. So out of the timeout, the Cavaliers will have the ball. They can get it down to a 2-possession game with a 3-pointer made. Problem is they've only made 6 all game. So they're definitely got their hands full, for sure. Hold on. What's going on here? Okay. So Minnesota, I mean, they've missed their last couple of shots. Free throws still haven't really gone up. I mean, that is a bad conversion rate on any given day. 9 offensive boards. The assist number has been nice. When they've moved the ball, as we've said time and time again, it's looked good. I mean, that's not rocket science, to be honest. The 8 turnovers for them. They've been much more responsible with the ball in the second half. That's what was keeping the Cavaliers in the game in the first half. But it's no coincidence that there is a correlation between the lack of turnovers and the lead they've gotten. Because the Cavaliers simply have not been able to get up shots, even though they're not shooting it at too bad of a percentage here in this last quarter. Edwards been highly inefficient, but Mike Conley has been a very welcomed surprise. He's had a block. As a 6'1" point guard, he should not have a block, but here he is with a block, and leading the way scoring-wise for them. Naz Reid's got 15, missed quite a few threes, though, and Rudy Gobert has been stranded on 13 rebounds for some time, but not really the rebounds that matter when it comes to Gobert. It's more the defensive stuff, the intangibles, the stuff you have to look beyond the box score for. And yeah, the Cavaliers, no one scored more than 14 for them. Garland's going to have to lift. Levert's going to need to show something in the closing minutes. And Jarrett Allen, I don't know if he's going to play, because he's been... Well, he didn't start the second half, and he didn't start the second half, and he hasn't been on the court for a few minutes now in the last. So I don't know if that's an indicator of what's to come, because Thompson is playing, and they're playing with Morris and Niang as well. So Garland is at the point and Okoro at the 2. Garland, the pull-up, is good. So they turn that turnover, which was sourced by Okoro, into a score on the other end. So it's down to 7 with 6 minutes to play. This game is not done yet. McLaughlin will cross up. The kick out to Alexander Walker is open. He's an NBA player, but he can't make that wide open 3. And Thompson wanted a foul. He brings the ball up himself. Niang to Thompson. They've only really got one recognized ball handler on the court right now, and it's Garland who has it here. He bounce passes it to Thompson, who goes down low. The kick out to Morris, the sidestep, the 3, it's off. The long rebound by McLaughlin, and they'll look to push the pace here. Morris is guarding Gobert under the basket. Thompson is guarding McLaughlin on the outside. Garland is guarding Edwards here in the post. Okoro is playing off ball. Now he's on ball. The pass to the corner for McDaniels goes down. Big three-pointer hit as we breach the final 5 minutes of this game. It is a 10-point lead for Minnesota. Garland wanted a foul on the shot. It's going to be a foul on the floor. I never understand those because Garland did shoot, but the referees, even though they did call a foul, the shot was where the lockup happened and they're calling it on the floor. Don't really get it. Let's have a look. That's a shot. That is legitimately a foul on the shot, but the Cavaliers are going to have to earn their stripes. As they inbound it to Garland, who shoots with the right hand and scores again. So, better late than never, I guess. But is it too little too late? An 8-point game with 4:30 to play. And the Cavaliers will need to get stops. No two ways about it. They got the defenders on the floor there to do it. McDaniels, another three. It's good. And he gets it back up to 11. Every single time the Cavaliers seem to have something, McDaniels has hit a couple of big threes in this game. A couple of big shots, generally speaking. He hit a big baseline jumper in the third quarter. Niang scores the push shot at the 4-minute mark, and it is back down to 9. But I tell you what, McDaniels has come up big time here in this game. Like, he has been massive for this team. 15 points in the game. I don't think he had more than 2 buckets at the first change. Oh, sorry, halftime. So now he's got 15 points, shooting very nice splits, and he's got 3 steals and a block. So he's done everything you want out of your 3-and-D wing. Scored threes, played defense, done the little things, the hustle plays. He has turned the ball over, but you're not an NBA player if you're not turning the ball over, am I right? So they've played a far more refined, better brand of basketball here in this second half, for sure. That's why they've got this lead. So they've just looked like they've got a little bit of extra polish, whereas the Cavaliers have looked a bit more disjointed. They've sort of forced it a little bit. We've had 8 ties and 4 lead changes in this game. The Cavaliers led by as much as 7, I believe, early in the third quarter. The Minnesota Timberwolves have led by 14 at most. But the Cavaliers have scored a few buckets here late in the fourth. They've had a pretty good last quarter offensively. I mean, they've, I don't know how many points they had at three-quarter time. I can't remember, but I think it was 66. So, done a better job. Conley for 3. It's off. The board by Gobert. Allen with the denial. Oh no. Edwards with the 2. Niang could not rake in the offensive rebound. Sorry, the defensive rebound. It opened up an offensive rebounding opportunity for Ant. And, yeah, those are the ones where you absolutely want to look away as a Cavalier supporter. So, an 11-point lead, and if the Cavaliers were able to rake it in, and go the other way and score, big 4-point swing for this stage of the game especially. Those are the kind of swings that are so valuable. So Garland, LeVert, pass out to Niang, top of the key. Well defended by McDaniels with the help defense. They didn't feed Garland. LeVert inside, knocked away. Allen was able to recover. They got 2 to shoot, 1 to shoot. Allen airballs the shot, but was fouled by Gobert. That is a huge bailout. Wow, that is pretty irresponsible stuff if that is a foul by Gobert. Let's have a look. Did he hit him on the elbow? I think he did. So we're going to get free throws here. Jarrett Allen at the line. Centers have struggled today at the line. I think Allen is 2 of 4. Makes this one, though, and cuts it back down to 10. The game is still not done yet, but Cavaliers are definitely, well, it's them against the world at the moment. Backs against the wall. Second free throw for JA is also good. It's back down to single figures. Conley will bring it forward. Guarded by Garland. The switch. Garland is getting held off the ball, and they didn't call it. An offensive foul. Levert was able to rake in the steal in transition. Gobert's trailing the play. Okoro, one more for JA. It's swatted by Gobert. Or McDaniels, one or the other. It doesn't really matter who does it. Garland for three. It's off. And a rebound by Minnesota. Naz Reid got hit, I would presume, by his own teammate. God, that was a big, big stop there for Minnesota. Gobert basically halted their fast break. Reed's open in the corner, right in front of the Cavs bench. That's a practice shot, and it's back up to a dozen. And he was also fighting a few demons because I don't think he could see out of one eye, but he had good enough vision to know where the basket was because he knocked down the three, leads back up to a dozen, and I would imagine that this one is probably out of reach now for the Cavs, but fair play to them. I mean, Naz Reid started the game well in the middle portion. McLaughlin did some nice things. Then you've seen the more veteran presence of Mike Conley really making some big plays as the game's worn on. And it was actually McDaniels with the block on Jarrett Allen. It had beaten the first line of defense, which was Gobert, but the second line, there was never any doubt about it. And those are the big plays that win games. And what the hell? There's Naz Reid towels everywhere in the crowd. So obviously it was a Naz Reid giveaway night or something, because every single man in the audience, man, woman, child, dog, has a Naz Reid towel in the crowd. So 2:25 to play. Vibes are very sky high in Minneapolis. 2:25 to play in this fourth quarter. And Levert is going to pass it at Garland. Didn't shoot the three. Didn't move the pivot foot. Gets the two up and gets the bounce. He's been superb in the last quarter, Garland. Making timely buckets when they matter, but they just haven't been able to do the little things right. And Minnesota have, well, they've owned the lead in the second half, and it's been pretty tough to get that back. From a Cavalier perspective, Conley the lob, Gobert the exclamation point. They crack the ton, and that should do it. 12-point lead. Garland to Okoro, back to Allen, back to Okoro, takes it inside, can't get the angle. The board secured by McDaniels, and it's only fitting that he gets the important rebound. As we enter the final 90 seconds, the drive, the pass, and he's just thrown it away. So 1:30 to play, 109-89 the score. And it's going to be Cavalier ball. They take it in. Levert off the glass, it's good. And that gets it back down to 10. But I would assume they're going to play the long game here. Edwards. Oh, wow. Anderson lost the ball. Niang. Levert, pump fake. Niang, back to Levert. One more was on offer. Oh, my goodness. How is that not a foul? What on earth? They're very, very lucky, Minnesota, because I'll tell you what, that would have made the game very interesting if they were able to score there. The Cavaliers had the outnumber, yet weren't able to exploit that extra number. And so Minnesota will actually get the possession back, I think. I'm not sure who that has gone off. 1:12 to play. And yeah, it's going to be Minnesota inbounding. Cole Anderson doing the inbounding duties after he fumbled it. When receiving the inbounds, Conley is doubled, pass to Anderson, he's blitzed, lost the ball, but it's going to be a foul on, I believe, Okoro at the 105 mark. So, not much time to play here in this game, but it's been a valiant effort by the Cavaliers. They just don't have the personnel at the moment to go with. If you are enjoying the stream, make sure to show your support. McDaniels is fouled by Levert. And it will be a couple of free throws here. The 1 minute mark of the fourth. I would suspect that there is not going to be too much time left in this game. I don't think the Cavaliers are going to play the long game. McDaniels misses the first. And the second free throw is also off. But Minnesota get the board. It's Gobert who bats it out to the wing. And Minnesota will roll it back out. Final minute. Conley is going to drive. Garland well defended. And Conley with the three. The step back. That's going to do it. That's a huge shot. I mean, game's probably all said and done before he takes it. But he's had a great second half. That's going to... Well, that sums it up, really. Oh, wow. Gobert nearly fell over. Levert, the three, is well off. And Minnesota are going to win their 48th game of the season. They are going to win 104-91. Cracking second half by Minnesota. The Cavaliers, yeah, they struggled here in the second half. Scored 25 points, which is a decent sort of output. 25 points is pretty good. But yeah, that third quarter really cost them. That's where the game really swung the other way. It looks like, I don't know what's going on there. It's going to be Cavalier ball, but it's not really going to count for too much in the end. Minnesota scored 32 points in the last quarter, so obviously they saved the best till last. And it caps off a 58-point second half, a half where they outscored Cleveland by 16. And if we go to the box score, I mean, they shot the ball above 50% from the field, from three, not from the field, but their free throw percentage was ghastly. I don't think it really matters in the end, though. They looked after the basketball. McDaniels came up huge. He had 3 steals and 2 blocks. When the game shifted, it was when the defensive intensity lifted as a whole, as a collective from Minnesota, and McDaniels led the charge in that respect. Conley did some nice things in that run as well, and he had 6 dimes, the team high, and Anthony Edwards, even though he had a rough shooting game, he secured some pretty vital boards, had 13 of those in the game, and also had the 5 dimes as well. So he was able to do bits for the team, even though the shot wasn't going down, and that's the sign of a good NBA player. 9 points for Gobert, had the 15 offensive rebounds, or 15 rebounds. I wish he had 15 offensive. 6 offensive overall, 18 for Naz Reid. Basically a great team effort. And Jordan McLaughlin in the first half, should I say, hit some big threes when the offense really wasn't all that stable in the first half from a Minnesota standpoint. So I think that little cameo off the bench actually is more valuable than what some would probably give him credit for. Cavaliers just couldn't shoot the ball from 3. From the field, it lifted in the second half. Their free throws went up. They shot that far better than Minnesota ever did. Rebounding numbers were similar, but the turnovers ballooned in the second half. And then Garland, who is heavily leaned upon to probably keep the offense respectable with Donovan Mitchell out, he went 8 of 21. And that was with him going 4 of 16 early on. So it took him 16 shots to get his first 4 and then 5 shots to get his next 4. So if he was efficient as what he was later in the game earlier on, I think they have a very good chance of winning the game. But him and Levert did not shoot the ball too well. Allen was good early on, but you don't feel as if they fed him enough. He had an absolutely brilliant game against Minnesota the first time these two teams met. He scored 33 and had 18 boards. So, yeah, I don't think they did a good enough job of getting it to him. Even though Gobert was doing a great job of manning the middle, you sense that there would have been a bit of opportunity there if they could get the switches. That said, Minnesota's defensive scheme in the second half was quality. So I think we have to give Minnesota some credit where credit is due in sort of interrupting the Cavaliers and only allowing 42 points in the second half. It really starts from there for a team that's not very gifted offensively, or struggles more so offensively than defensively. Defense is the name of the game for Minnesota. So, yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that they were able to win the game off the back of conceding 42 points or whatever it was. Rebounds similar. Assist numbers similar. Free throws clearly in the Cavs' favor, but Minnesota smashed them for three-pointers, and the percentages were worlds apart. So ultimately, Minnesota definitely deserved to win this one, for sure. And if I just look at the other stats that don't matter as much, but do still matter, fast break points, let's have a look. Offensive rebounds pretty even. Points off turnovers 15 to 13, even though, the turnovers were pretty even, but that was a huge advantage for the Cavaliers in the first half, and then things evened up, and obviously it swung the other way. Points in the paint pretty even. Fast break points, not too many of those. A lot of dead ball turnovers, and then second chance points. That was the big thing. Even though Minnesota only had 2 extra offensive rebounds, they had 11 extra points from the second chance points source. So, some huge moments there. But overall, pretty entertaining game of basketball, all things considered. I mean, there's quite a few injuries around the league at this stage of the year, which is not a good thing, heading towards the playoffs. But, it really shows a fair bit of intrigue with some of the games you can potentially witness because, losing your superstars and the guys that rosters are built around, it sort of raises an element of unknown with what performance you're going to see at any given time. So, ultimately, Minnesota win by 13. And, I actually enjoyed watching the game. If you did enjoy watching this stream, make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of stuff. Neutral games, and I'm doing Nets games as well for the rest of the year, regrettably. We will see you for any of those. If you want to stay tuned, make sure to, you know what to do. And ultimately, that is going to do it. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your chat messages. Thanks for the support. We will see you in a bit. But until then, thank you. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.